Boy, this is a very interesting matchup to actually close the year off for the UFC. But hey, it's your boy DHP. Y'all know the rest, man. And this is my brand new Royval, Manel Kape review. I'm gonna just talk about this fight in specific. And yes, I'm at the McDonald's drive-thru, not drive-thru, but in the parking lot because I'm hungry as shit. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this review while I'm in the parking lot. But yeah. Also, I'm gonna talk about something else at the end of the video. Yeah, but we'll get there. It's only gonna be about like 10 to 15 seconds anyway, so it ain't really nothing. But regardless, Manel Kape and Brandon Royval. First thing first, let me get this out of the way, because I did a reaction to the UFC journey. And then I did all the media days, and well, I didn't do the media day reaction. I did the UFC journey reaction. But so this fight right here, before 323, right? I was kind of thinking, like, depending on how everything go with 323, Manel Kape and Brandon Royval this third time, and everybody made weight today, so we are officially about to have this fight, because this fight it's been on some Kape and Tony shit where it's been scheduled multiple times. And then Brandon Royval, he got hurt the first time, pulled out. Manel Kape the second time, he got hurt and he pulled out the second time, right? So now the third time is the charm. They both made weight. This fight has finally happened. So even though we didn't get Kape and Tony, at least we're getting this, right? But anyway, before 323, I was like, depending on how my whole mood, not my whole mood, but my whole perspective, my whole thinking was, depending on how 323 go, would dictate if the winner of this fight get the title shot. But now we know what happened at 323. So Manel Kape, whoever wins out of Manel Kape and Brandon Royval, I don't believe they're going to get the next shot, and nor should they. I believe, especially, with actually in both situations, actually, because Manel Kape's been away for a minute. Even though he's on a little hot streak, he's been away for a minute. So even if he get this win against Brandon Royval, he should at least get like a #1 title eliminator fight. At bare minimum, he should get, or at least a maximum, however you want to phrase it, he should get a #1 title eliminator fight. Brandon Royval, he just lost to Joshua Van. Now Brandon Royval, if he end up smoking Manel Kape, then maybe he gets winner at Joshua Van. And I'm gonna just go ahead and throw this out here. It's gonna be Joshua Van and Tatsuto Tara. I don't see what other reason for it to be that, especially when Patoja having a long layoff. So we're gonna get to analysis in a minute, but this fight, whoever wins, I don't believe is gonna get a title shot, and nor should they. Now on to the analysis. This is a very interesting matchup, because I do feel like Manel Kape, especially after his last fight, Manel Kape could definitely be a monster in this division. Not only do he has the charisma, and he can actually, he has what it takes to sell, especially for the flyweights, because really flyweights, they don't get the respect that they deserve because they so small. I've been saying it. I don't think I said it on camera, but I've been saying it for years and years. Ideally, the right weight class that everybody attracts to is lightweight. Now, when Conor came into the game, Conor kind of changed that narrative with the featherweights, and then obviously with Max Holloway doing what he did, the featherweight kind of changed his narrative on what's attractive to the UFC. But ideally for mixed martial arts, it's really welterweight and lightweight, right? Heavyweights, light heavyweights, they had a time, but like for the past decade, it's been, unless it was John Jones, UFC wise, well, MMA wise, it's usually the welterweight and lightweights, and then then we had Izzy at middleweight. But Manel Kape definitely have what it takes to with his skill set, with the way he fights, and his charisma, the way he talks on the mic, he definitely can be that next one, that Conor McGregor, that Chael Sonnen type voice, or even Ilya Taporia in some form, where he can carry this flyweight division. Now fighting wise, this is a tough matchup actually for Manel Kape, because I fuck with Manel Kape heavy, but I'm picking Brandon Royval in this fight, and only because Manel Kape, he's a beast, but he's too patient for somebody like Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval low-key reminds me of Max Holloway with jiu-jitsu, because how active he is with his striking. He overwhelms you with his volume, because he can box on the inside, he can box on the outside, because he got reach, and he does it so well in an overwhelming volume way. And then on top of that, he has great Brazilian jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu. So, which is why I just said he's like the Max Holloway with jiu-jitsu. Manel Kape, I can see he got more power than Brandon Royval, so I can see if Brandon, just like how the Brandon Royval Joshua Van fight happened, I can see Manel Kape actually catching and dropping Brandon Royval coming in. When Brandon Royval comes in, all reckless abandon in the pocket, when he wants to stand there and trade strikes with Manel Kape is technical to where he gonna catch Brandon Royval in a nice counter and actually rock and drop him. But that's all dependent on how well Brandon Royval's chin hold up. If he don't get dropped or rocked, I think Manel Kape, it's Brandon Royval's overwhelming style might be too much for Manel Kape. But I also can see where Brandon, even though I am picking Brandon this fight is really like 55-45 to me, because it's not an all-out landslide. Like, I'm picking Brandon to win, but I would not be surprised if Manel Kape to win, just because I do feel like I just said a couple minutes ago, Brandon Royval's style is like a double-edged sword. Like, it can work in his favor if somebody's like too technical and methodical, but also it can get him into a lot of trouble. If a nigga find his rhythm and find out Brandon's pattern and actually, tune his ass up, disrupting the pattern, he can find himself into trouble. Manel Kape, he could end up submitting Brandon Royval. Now, Brandon Royval got great Brazilian jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu, but his submission defense is kind of lacking. That's really the only thing. Manel Kape got great jiu-jitsu too. But overall, I just see this fight just... Brandon might be too overwhelming. He might be too overwhelming. But, as always, this is why they go out there and fight. Because we say one thing, we think this way, but at the end of the day, they got to go out there and fight. And it might be a complete shutdown. Manel Kape, everything that Brandon tried to do, Manel Kape is just 2 steps ahead of Brandon Royval, and he just countering him and just picking him apart. Like it low-key, like now I'm thinking about it, it low-key could go one or two ways. Brandon Royval could make this like his last fight with Joshua Van, or it could go the way where Manel Kape just methodically just picking him apart on some John Jones, Glover Teixeira type shit. Just because how reckless abandon Brandon can be. But I am picking Brandon Royval. I'm going to say, I don't see Brandon Royval stopping Manel Kape. But I do, if he does win, I do see him taking him to a unanimous decision. Or possibly split. If Manel Kape wins, it's probably going to be like via submission. I think Manel Kape could end up submitting Brandon Royval. But I'm picking Brandon Royval in a decision win. And then he could potentially fight the winner of, and I just put it on my story, excuse me, I just put it on my story. Brandon Moreno and Asua Balve. I see Brandon Royval getting the winner of that matchup if he was to win. Honestly, tell you the truth, even if Manel Kape wins, I think he still gets the winner of that matchup. Unless you do something. You know what? I should have expanded on this in a couple videos earlier. But we still got Horiguchi. So either they gonna get the winner of that matchup or they possibly gonna get Horiguchi. You know. But yeah, man, that's really my take on this fight. This is a very interesting matchup to me. Like, y'all know flyweight is my favorite weight class of the UFC. And there's no other way to end the year off with the UFC with a matchup like this, especially in my favorite weight class. Now what I want to say for like 5 or 10 seconds before I end this video, Lance Gibson Jr. That's gonna be the prospect. I'm all eyes, because I heard of his name before, but I never got the time. Well, I wouldn't say I never got the time. I never really checked him out, but I've been hearing good things about him, about Lance Gibson Jr. So I'm very, very interested to see how he do against King Green, or Bobby Green per se, because Bobby Green, even though Bobby Green ain't no championship material fighter, Bobby Green still he can still throw. He can still throw them hands, and still a quality level fighter. So I think this is a catchweight fight, if I'm not mistaken. It's either I think it's a catchweight fight, but either way, I'm actually excited to see how he do. And this was like a last minute addition at that, so I don't want to put all my eggs in the basket as far as like over, analyzing him, because this is short notice, very short notice. But I'm very interested to see what he can do. But nonetheless, that's all I have for tonight. This is it. This is the last fight card of the 2025 calendar year for the UFC. So after tomorrow night, we're gonna move on to other things in the sport of MMA, and actually, touch on some other topics within the UFC. So yeah, until my next video, which will be tomorrow evening, I guess you can say. I always say like evening, Sunday morning, because the fight card is at 10 o'clock and it won't end until Sunday morning, midnight type shit. So anyway, whichever time I do it, the next video is going to be the review show. So yeah, until we get there tomorrow night, holla at y'all niggas later, man.